Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, best place for long-term stock investors. Today, we are going to talk about two companies, ES Ceramics, and yet again, Serbadk is in the news. So, disclaimer, we do own shares in ES Ceramics. Also, as always, guys, remember what we talk about here is purely for educational purposes. Please speak to your financial advisor if you want to make real investments. We are not financial advisors, so do your own research and yeah, play it safe, guys.
So I know most of you watching out there want to build that 6 to 7 figure portfolio but don't know how to start. In our FIRL Masterclass, we show it to you in a concise but methodological manner. So if you want to join us for the Masterclass, you can find the registration in the comment section below.
Alright guys, let's start with ES Ceramics. ES Ceramics is a glove former.
Hand former.
Hand former, sorry, right? It's the thing that gives rubber gloves its shape.
Correct.
So I believe there are YouTube videos online that show like the hands like
And then
dipping.
dipping,
So I mean that's for like Top Glove and Hattelega, but they actually supply the ceramic glove formers to these companies. So obviously last year was a good year for gloves, so ES Ceramics got dragged up.
Yep.
And then of course we know this year and maybe more than that, gloves have been doing really poor. So ES Ceramics has been dragged down. But something interesting is that the profit has shown some promising figures.
That's right. That's right.
So there's something you wanna tell us about.
So like what you said, it went up, it came down, it went up again. And today is probably still 2 times of its high, 2 times of its the beginning of that the glove mania.
Yeah.
What was interesting was actually the tripling of its net profit. So from the corresponding year last year in August 2020 to correspond to current year to date, 31st August 21, from 3.2 to 9.4 million. So it's a kind of like a lagging indicator of gloves. They are still prone to the volatility of the glove makers' businesses, because hand formers they have a certain lifespan, and I know some glove companies that actually make their own hand formers. They are ES Ceramics is relied upon by the main glove makers, but then because the market data is very under researched, there is actually not much indication of what's the size of these guys and compared to the global players. So they consider themselves one of the biggest because their closest competitor, Serbadk, which is German-based, actually, in terms of volume production, are somewhat slightly less than them. And I think where ES Ceramics has an advantage is probably their plant in Thailand, where they get better tax incentives actually.
That's kind of sad, but okay.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? But it's kind of like indirectly telling the Malaysian government, hey, your tax incentives aren't too friendly to manufacturing of their business. Yeah. Actually, I asked this during the AGM last year. And they said, it's very simple. It's just tax. Net profit tripled. They also had an average higher selling price, ASP, for their for their hand formers.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if you want to understand a little bit more about the business, we actually did a video on them, ES Ceramics, probably about a few months ago. So if you can find the link on the top right, you'll be able to find those videos and explaining more about the business, which we wouldn't go into very detail in this video. Yeah.
So I guess the question is the same for glove companies, right? Like, is this the time to go in? Right? I think this is what everyone asks. And I think our thoughts on gloves are, maybe I've not shared this part about my thoughts, which is that I think the way gloves have been beaten down has been quite crazy. They are being priced for like absolute failure.
Doomsday pricing.
That said, I do think that if you're going to go into the glove developer makers or linked to the glove makers, you will need to figure out which one has, for example, the best modes and which one has the best management.
Correct.
I think now, so the thing is, in 2020, you could buy so glove makers, right? Like, so for example, like Supermax wasn't exactly a top glove or a Hartelega,
Even
right?
Comfort
Or Comfort,
or
right?
Care Plus,
But-
all those secondary tier glove makers.
But these guys actually ended up doing well, like in terms of the share price, right?
yeah,
Because it was a mania. Today, now, if you're investing in gloves, the mindset should be safety and quality.
correct.
Like the guys who have been around for the longest, who do the best business, and all that.
Who has the best customer relationship, who has the widest network, who is the most efficient. These are the guys that will be able to sustain going forward.
Yes. Because in the past, nobody really cared about the quality of the company. As long as you have the gloves, you're going to do well.
Correct.
Now people start to wake up a little bit more rational. So then this is when you have to be a little bit more strict with your
Discerning lah.
investing.
Yeah. You see, in any competition, I think many guys said this, but the one that I really liked was by Morningstar guy. What's his name?
Pat Dorsey.
Pat Dorsey, right? So he said, high margins always attract business competition. And over time, these margins will be eroded time and time again. The ones that stand out, the crowd, is really boils down to the quality of the management and how they can maintain that kind of margins. Because in a supply-driven environment where, it's a demand-driven environment during the glove mania.
Yep.
Everything floats.
Yep.
But in a supply-driven cycle, in which right now is going to happen for the gloves, right, is really how well and how efficient these companies are.
Absolutely.
That's the one that you should focus on.
Yep. Okay, guys, if you're interested in being in our exclusive research team, right, there's a way to enter. What you can do is you can actually send us research reports in Google Doc and Google Sheets format. Now, what a lot of people tend to do is that they'll just send us the financials. And that's not something that, that's something that we can find out ourselves, right? So if you want to stand a chance to be part of the research team, please send us tell us about the business, tell us why you think the management is good, tell us why you think the industry is good, the qualitative side of things, in addition to the financials. And that's your best chance at getting into our research team. And the email is right here. Okay, John, we're back with Serbadk Dynamic yet again. They are in the news. Datuk Karim is in the news again because he disposed a large chunk of his warrants at, I believe, I calculate, I could be wrong, about 7.5 cents.
I think warrants. total warrants, the total proceeds from the warrants disposed was about 350,000.
Yes. Yeah. So, no, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that the shares he bought after that was 350,000.
No, the shares he bought was higher, but the warrants he disposed of was 350K.
Right. So,
yeah.
I'm not quite sure how, if you look at the price chart, right, I think it fell something like, 38 cents to 35. So let's call it 6-7%. And the reaction, I don't understand the reaction because the amount is like 300 over 1,000 as you pointed out.
Yeah.
Yet he owns like millions.
Oh, I think you're right.
So actually I did the calculations. And guys, if you guys think we're wrong, just correct us in the comment section.
Yeah.
But I did calculate because after he sold it, the warrants fell by 6%, something like that, to about it fell to 6 cents odd, 6 odd cents.
Okay.
And I calculated roughly he sold it at, assuming he sold it all at the same price, at about 7.55 cents. So I back calculated, I think it's about 4 million worth of warrants. But after that, then Bursa suspended the trading.
Yeah.
Deferred notice, and then Karim actually bought 1 million shares at about 35 cents.
So that is about
350,000. Yeah. So that's the thing. So the warrants he sold was worth more than the shares that he bought subsequently, right? So I don't know why he decided to buy 300,000 shares. 300,000 odd worth of shares. Not quite sure, but it could be, we were discussing, first of all, it's so small, right? The value, right? Versus his stake, which is like 50 something million, 60 something million. And it's a drop in the ocean, or maybe a lake, right? Used to be an ocean. So I think one reason could be that he wanted to maybe reduce some exposure, or maybe he is afraid that it's very volatile when you buy warrants. And after all, as you mentioned before the chat, he got these warrants for free.
Yeah.
So my thoughts is that it's actually the reaction is slightly overblown. But just like us, the age wants to use the news on Serbadk Dynamic maybe to get more viewership or whatever. Yeah, we are guilty of that as well for sure.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I think what I wanted to say about the suspension more than the warrants. Like what you said, it's no news.
Drop in the link.
Yeah. But the suspension was good because they suspended because they wanted Serbadk to reveal the findings of the audit.
That's key.
And they wanted the market to be what do you call it? Aware of what is really going on behind the scenes, and so that investors are well informed. I think that's a good move from Bursa's behalf, and they said that the suspension of trading will continue until the audit findings are actually revealed.
Yeah.
So it's actually ironically it's the first time I've seen it. I mean, in my investing career, I think that's the first time I see that. Usually they suspend for 1 day pending one announcement, and then usually the second day or third day we will. This is like suspended until further notice. So there's no fixed timeline when they will resume trading. The second thing I wanted to add on the warrants was that there is actually maturity date.
Yes.
Which is not too near. It's 2024, December 5th, 2024. But then the strike price or the conversion price for the warrant is going to be at 262, which if you looked at Serbadk's peak pricing, it makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
It makes sense. But today at the price of 7.5 cents or something.
The warrants or
the warrants?
Yeah, it's there 7 cents about that.
Yeah, 7 cents, right? So imagine the amount of money Karim has to fork out to convert at 262, from 7 cents.
Yeah.
Might as well sell it off.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, might as well sell it off, recoup the losses, whatever money that you have. And then now you go and buy at 35 cents for, because mathematically it makes no sense. So I think there's an article that says it's a business decision. And if I look at it, I mean, forget about what Serbadk's audit finding or whatever, but if you look at it from a purely mathematical point of view, I think it was quite a...
Makes sense. Yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know when I think 2024 is still quite far away. The other thing I'd like to point out is this. People were very impressed because Serbadk, in the past, Serbadk's growth in their revenue and the net profit. And then there was many videos that we've done, and a few of it pointed out that the cash collection because of the receivables was going up and up, right? And it doesn't seem to abate. I mean, what we also opined was that if Serbadk could turn around their cash collection, receivables come down, operating cash flows go up, then you would see a good turnaround of the business. Right. But as of the last quarterly announcement, that doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, the receivables went up.
Yeah.
So what happens is that, we even had some commenters in our previous video saying about, receivables are as good as cash.
That's a new form of accounting analysis to me. That's for sure.
And we were questioned about our accounting know-how and everything. So I'm glad this thing manifests because accounting rules, some of it it may be archaic, but business rules remain true time and time again.
Yeah. Right. I think it's a great lesson. Part of the challenge was also that I think there's two, right? First, the Serbadk Dynamic as a so-called oil and gas company essentially are not big enough for the relevant authorities in Malaysia to give as much attention, right? Because if you imagine, so many things are happening. Like, we just met Serbadk, right? Our MP about a couple of weeks ago.
Correct.
And he said I'm not sure how he actually watched our videos. But, the guy is a really, he doesn't like injustice, right?
Yes.
And what was interesting to me was that even after watching Serbadk, he didn't see like some of the things that were going on that maybe weren't that maybe should have a little bit more attention, right? Like what Busa is doing.
Yes.
With asking for the audit. But his reaction was, he just said he watched the video.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that I think that Serbadk is just small enough right now that the authorities won't pay too much attention to it. They will do what is the bare minimum. But to go beyond, like the same kind of attention that the UMW or Sapura would have, I think is nowhere close. I think that's the one thing that I want to share as well. And I think the second thing is that the fact that they have a lot of business in like the Middle East.
Correct.
So it's like outside their jurisdiction, right? Most oil and gas companies is basically Petronas.
Yeah.
So they care a lot more. Malaysian authorities will care a lot more. Yeah. And of course, because Serbadk, and you were sharing also in private that Serbadk is actually not, you're in the oil and gas industry, they're not really a household name.
Yeah,
right?
it's not.
This doesn't mean that they're not a legit company, or this doesn't mean that they are necessarily a bad company on that basis. But it just means that they live in a slightly different world from the Malaysian space.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People from Hibiscus will know people from UMW, will know people from Shell Malaysia.
The circle is actually very small, actually.
And yet, in that small circle, Serbadk Dynamics not inside there.
Yeah.
So I think that's why there's a bit of mystery, right? I don't want to give too much speculation on what it is, but there's a lot of mystery behind the company. And honestly, we hate to say this, but it's really a wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, we, rather than a lot of the news that is happening or being published, right? I rather rely on numbers.
Yeah.
In this kind of case, right? We said investing is an art because you want to rely on a growth story, and that's what Serbadk did very well in the past, right? But then eventually numbers will catch up. You say you have this growth, look at Tesla. A lot of skeptics were proven wrong because the numbers are coming in.
Yeah.
Right. But here, you have the story, but you need the numbers to back it up. Right. Yeah. I can only believe you so far. You don't tell me you want to repeat that story 3 years and then the numbers don't tally. Then it's just this mismatch. And I just want to point out this last, infographics is like the year they recognize this huge receivable jump, 509 million, was where all the problems kind of started. So they were trying to suppress it, right? The black is changes in accounts receivable. So it was kind of suppressed, but you could get hints because of the operating cash flow. But the moment, the skeletons start coming out of the closet, right? That's where that recognition of receivables start coming.
Eventually it will show.
Eventually it will show. That's why when you invest, what you're trying to do is minimize your mistakes.
Yeah, sorry.
You're not trying to. A lot of people think that in investing is you're trying to outgun and trying to get your alpha by trying to find the latest craze in town, whatever. Yes, it's good that sometimes you have that edge, understanding all these themes, but at the same time, what you're trying to do is when you look at the numbers, you're trying to reduce the mistakes that the probabilities of your mistakes. You see,
absolutely true.
Yeah.
So guys, with that, it comes to the end of the quick dive. Hopefully you enjoyed this short and sweet one. Of course, if you like the video, share it with your friends, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you know when new videos come out for you, and see you in the next quick dive, which will be very different. Sneak peek. Okay.